Okay, hold on. All right, guys, again, just for a little intro for a lot of you guys watching, this is Scavland. This is a game I recently got brought on to help design as well as market. It's a hardcore top-down pixel graphic RPG. Has a really, really unique experience, and honestly something that I just heavily vibe with because I love my top-down isometric games. And this game, in a lot of ways, is heavily inspired by Stalker, Metro, and has a lot of gameplay elements that will feel very similar to Stalker Anomaly or Stalker Gamma mod pack. So it's going to be very modular. You're going to be able to like kind of customize and make your own experience if you want to. And there'll be a lot of sandbox like gameplay elements within the game that is going to just kind of keep you in the world and really make you immersed. It's hard too. Like the AI is pretty tough. The human AI and mutant AI will fuck you up in this. So again, you guys can download the demo right now for free. So if you guys want to play what I'm playing right now, just go to Steam, download the demo. That's pretty much it. That's all you got to do. It is for free right now. We're going to go ahead and start a new game. It's also a previous version too. Hardcore runs. So this doesn't have the built-in Iron Man yet, squiggles, but we will absolutely be doing permadeath Scavland runs. It's actually a feature that I personally requested get implemented before early access launch, which was the way to essentially have Iron Man mode and have like a bunch of gameplay options essentially, where you can customize everything about the world and its difficulty essentially. And we'll have like a native death counter, and we'll have a native in-game time alive timer for your characters, so you can kind of like have all of that stuff just supported in the game inherently. Just very similar to like a lot of the streams that we've done in the past, right? Just because I feel like people do like that stuff. They like doing permadeath runs. Like it creates a cool challenge run like type community within a game, like an Iron Man community. You know, there's Iron Man communities in a lot of different games. So yeah, this is Scavland. So this is the first trader that you're going to meet. His name's Gregory. This is your stash. So this is where you come to kind of depot items. So in like one of our difficulty modes that we'll have for Scavland, because again, we want to have like multiple ways for players to challenge themselves and kind of choose their challenge. Like our core mode is going to be essentially a roguelike. So you're not really going to be able to save scum. You're going to be able to save at certain points in the gameplay, either like sleeping or at a campfire. We haven't really like flushed that side of the game out yet. But basically, when you die, you will respawn somewhere, likely the hospital, and you will have to go back and try and get the loot that's on your dead body. So you never actually really end up dying in the game, and it becomes more of like a roguelike experience where there is this meta progression or loss at the same time. However, we'll have a mode before that that's like easier, that kind of like lets you save scum whenever you want. You can just like quick save, play the game just like that. And then you're also going to be able to like change all of the sandbox settings to make the game either really difficult or really easy. And it's totally up to you. So it's like a full like kind of creative mode, if you will. And then eventually we'll have the Iron Man mode, which will be the last mode. And that will like be, you won't be able to change anything. It's like a set like developer intended experience. That's the Iron Man mode. You play it, and then that's it. You go and try and survive. And that obviously will get tweaked and balanced throughout like the course of plays and test runs and stuff. But that's kind of like the idea we want to have for players to play the game the way they want, but also kind of like let them have the freedom to either be like creative and easy, like cool roguelike game, or like literal permadeath, like hardcore, like pain game where you just lose everything every time you die. Just because, you know, people like that shit, and it also gives you a reason to keep going. A lot of that will get fleshed out. We don't have like a ton of details on that. And for a lot of guys wondering why I'm saying we or our and like speaking in these abbreviations, is because I work for No Shadow. It's the developers for this game. They brought me on to be a designer and marketing guy for them. They want me to help them, you know, kind of quite literally just build this game. They want to build the game with me, so I'm like down to help them. Plus, the developers have been like kind of fans of my stream for 4 or 5 years now, and like he's been DMing me about like his work for Scavland for the past 4 or 5 years because it's honestly really cool, and like I love the vibe. I love Stalker Anomaly. I love Gamma. I love Stalker 2. You know, I love Metro. I love like this whole sci-fi style stuff, but I also love top-down hardcore RPGs. I think they're one of my favorite genres. They're so accessible and fun. All right, let's go ahead and keep exploring here and look for some supplies. We need to find some more loot. We're gonna go to Gregory, but not quite yet. Nice, water's good. The cloths are good too because you can use those to repair clothing and suits. Oh, med kit's nice. Is that an IFAK actually? No, it's just an advanced bandage. IFAKs are really good. They're really like, oh fuck meds. You want to hit them if you're quite literally about to die. So at the moment, a lot of these items like the junk and the bars and like the pipes and stuff, they don't really have a functionality at the moment. They're just things that you sell to make money at a vendor. Some things do have uses, like obviously we have like our food, we have some meds, we have ammo, different types of bandages. The yellow cloth here though will repair stuff, and the hammer also repairs firearms. This is just like a super basic form of crafting that we have right now, which is going to get almost completely overhauled in early access, where it's going to be a lot more in depth. There's going to be a lot more itemization. There's going to be a lot more gameplay loops involved with repairing, managing your gear and stuff like that. But it won't be like too complicated. We kind of want to talk about potentially allowing players to choose the difficulty of the crafting as well, where like you can essentially have like a more limited itemization and like more general crafting items that are shared between recipes. Or we could get even more intricate where it's like the itemization is a lot more immense. There's way more items. There's way more things that kind of connect to each other that would be a bit more of like an immersive kind of experience. I don't want to say along like Gamma, because Gamma has a lot of itemization, almost too much, I would say. Whereas we'd want something like a little bit more linear than that. But again, you could like maybe change that if you wanted to. You know, those kinds of things we think would be very cool. One feature I'm really looking forward to is the instanced dungeons, the randomized dungeons, because there'll be like underground locations that you can find. And a lot of them will be at like certain set POIs, but some could be, you know, like randomized events out in the world, basically, where you could kind of just like stumble upon them as like an event. And then you'll basically have these little dungeons to go through and try and clear. Maybe fight like a boss at the end and get some like cool loot or something. We could even make them related to some kind of like missions or contract system. Wait, no, I gotta loot her house first. Another feature I want to add too, and I actually get some inspiration from Arc Raiders from this, but like I want items like the crowbar here to have a use, and you can like equip them. And there would be certain types of scrap and containers throughout the world that you'd have to kind of pry open and get into, but it would make some noise and maybe attract AI, or maybe like cause like some mutants to spawn near you potentially, or kind of, you know, kind of have a little RNG in terms of like a bit of an event that could happen if you choose to like loot those specific types of containers. Because I love that in Arc Raiders, just being able to like pry open containers and like hearing the sound. And there's like a cool little animation associated with it too. It's very satisfying. And it just makes the looting gameplay just very, very fun. Because in sandbox games with a lot of loot, a lot of itemization, especially when you have players that can like die and lose shit in the game, they're going to want to have something that's like kind of keeping them coming back. Like there needs to be like that like take away and give and take. Hello, Gregory. Oh, another repair item. I think this is actually, no, I didn't see screwdrivers. That's awesome. Alright, we're going to put a lot of this food in our stash. Because again, we are playing on the roguelike mode right now. Within the demo, you can save whenever you want to, though. So you're not really restricted in that regard. So I could, you know, save game right here, overwrite, and I could save scum as much as I want. But, like, we still do have the roguelike gameplay implemented here. So if you do die, as long as you just don't reload your save, you'll respawn back at the hospital, and there'll be a marker on the map for your dead body, and you have to try and go find it. And that's why we also have the stash here, so that you can have backup guns, gear, and supplies to help you get back to your body if you happen to fucking die. So we're definitely going to drop off these hammers. I'm going to drop off some of the food. We'll keep the herbs, though, because those are like really easy, cheap heals. Keep the ammo in here for now. Bandage, keep that there, keep that there. Herbs here. Keep the apple, probably end up eating that. Actually, we do need our pistol ammo here. Okay. Alright, we still need to do some more looting here. So it's not particularly dangerous here. There's containers you can kind of go and loot. Find some items that'll help you on your journey here. This is kind of what we want people to do initially, is just kind of come down to town and just loot up a little bit, make a little bit of money, talk to some of the NPCs. Because right now the game is basically a big circle. So the beginning of the game starts in the center, and then as you work your way out, the edges of the map are more dangerous and high tier, and there's content in like every direction. There's like, I want to say 5 to 6 hours of content in this demo alone. So it literally depends on how good you are and how quickly you can kind of go through things. But most new players are probably going to die quite a lot. But we can safely say there's like 5 to 6 hours of content here, just within the demo. If you want to like do every quest and explore every area and so on. I love how loud the gunfire is in this game too. It actually kind of throws you off for a top-down game. Like I get jump scared a lot when I play this game. Ooh, actually sawed off's kind of clutch. It's actually like literally a perfect first gun to get. Sawed off Taz, baby. I love that. So if you shoot smaller creatures with bigger calibers like that, you actually end up getting less loot. So if I killed it with a Makarov, I would actually be able to loot its body and actually get more items out of it. But for now, you just that kind of happens sometimes. Like we have AK-50 in the game as well, and when you shoot stuff with AK-50, like they just evaporate. It's pretty funny. Maybe some people won't think that's funny, but I think it's hilarious. We're hoping we'll eventually be able to have like animations as well for like a lot of the actions within the game too, especially for like reloading and drinking and stuff like that. It's just a lot of artwork. It's a lot of drawing like the frames of the animations themselves. Unless we can figure out a way to make the IK of the arms work the way we have our arms set up. Because you notice how the arms kind of move differently than the rest of the body. That also kind of factors in there. So if we could maybe use that to our advantage. We don't have cooking quite yet, but that's going to come soonish. We just would make it associated with the campfires. Okay. Put the Mackie too. This is for HP, so it's like a stim pack basically. This is for heavy bleeds, yeah. Yeah, HP and bleeds. This is only 25, so this is like just a super high tier bleed. I guess we use that if we were severely bleeding out. Okay. Some cheese. Let's throw the cheese here for now. Okay, looking good. Let me go and just hit a quick save real quick. Alright, we're a little injured too. We're actually going to be adding a resting by the campfire ability where you're able to basically sit at a campfire and passively regen. But what it'll do is it'll increase the pull rate of hunger and thirst. So that's a way we kind of balance it. So we're not really giving it to you for free. So as long as you're able to kind of eat and drink, you can sit by a campfire and get your HP back. But the campfires will also be kind of limited throughout the world. They're not going to be everywhere. Kind of think of it like a bit of a bonfire in like Elden Ring. Just started my first playthrough of Kenshi, mining copper and eating some dried meats. Welcome to the beginning of welcome to the beginning of Kenshi, dude. And that's honestly like the kind of like developer's intended way to start the game is like go and mine copper and just like start as like a fucking scrub. Have fun, dude. Kenshi is a wonderful game. See, now I can loot it. We can get some more parts off it. So it kind of encourages certain weapons and calibers to be more effective for looting certain enemies. One little fun decision players are going to have to make while they play. Do I just, like, you know, blast that fucking rabbit, or do I use my smaller cow to go loot it? We might even incorporate different ammo types as well. Like AP, hollow points, stuff like that. We're working with a composer right now, too, who's going to get a lot more ambient, like, music kind of in the game, too. That's unfortunately not in the demo, but that will be something we'll have at early access launch. We also have our Patreon too, by the way, guys. If you want to buy the game early and support the development, you guys can go to Patreon. It's $15, one-time payment. It gets you the like actual full copy of the game, but you can also take part in its like, oh shit. Oh fuck. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the fucking rats and stuff will like dogpile you and like get on top of you and slow you down. So if they all jump you at the same time, like you're probably gonna die. They'll do some fucked up shit to you. Anyway, if you guys want to take part in like the early testing of Scavland before it releases on Steam and also get updates past the demo, because we're going to be working on the game for the rest of the year or next couple months. It just really decides whenever we want to release like the full early access version of the game. But you'll essentially have access to those builds and those versions before we, you know, completely release the game and start selling it. $15 one-time purchase, and you basically own the game. No, I don't really know any code, man, but I do work with coders and help build things together just in terms of how the logic would make it work. I actually really enjoy sitting with devs and shaping features out. It's a lot of fun for me. Is there some ripped arms on the character model? Is it based on stats or just a look? No, just kind of the way the pixels are shaped. Honestly, now that you kind of say something, yeah, he does look kind of jacked. His forearms and shoulders are looking big. I did just Arnold press all day. But the character actually is going to get a bit of an overhaul. He is still kind of like on a legacy version that's going to get updated soonish. That'll probably be in for early access. We're eventually going to make it to where your chest armor will likely change the character model, or we might separate it somehow, but it's just like, that's kind of a big discussion with like how much art that's actually going to take to do properly, and how many different like actions that are animated for those parts of the body will need to be done, because there'd be a lot. It just kind of adds up very quickly. Fuck, I was looking at chat. Almost caught me slipping, dude. Got him. Cheeky bandits. Really want to change a lot of the looting sounds. Ooh, got him on the last bullet, dude. That was a close call. Let's go hit that here too. Damn, that got me. I forgot I have the shotgun too. I should start using this. Oh, fuck me. Jeez. What the fudge? I don't know, that guy sounded like he was close. This POI? That's nice, that's huge actually. Shit, dude. Damn, these fucking bastards are sneaky. So, the AI in this game are a lot of fun, and they're still like an early implementation too. Like, we want to make them even more complex. Like, we want to do like a whole A-life system in the game where basically squads will be moving around the map in the world on their own, kind of like doing their own things and interacting with each other. You'd be able to just come across like dead bodies and stuff because we want the environment to like engage with itself, and the player is just like existing in the world that's constantly engaging with itself. Of course, the player will be able to do that a lot as well, but there'll be a lot of like just dynamic stuff that'll happen in the world because there's all these things happening off screen that even though you're not involved are still turning out one way or the other. And that's something that we really want to achieve within early access for this game as well. Okay, we got a pretty big haul here. I guess we'll check these containers. I mean, rags. How about that? What's the fridge got? Nice fridge just spawning some loot. That's nice. Good. Not bad. Okay, decent money. Still got some decent gear too. I think we sell ammo casings actually. We don't actually use these yet. Let's actually go ahead and pair. How much is this? 10? Hat. Keep Ushanka safe. It's been taking care of us. Yeah, we need to use the shotgun a little bit more. I also need some water too. Damn, 4,000. Fuck, Gregory. One quality of life that we're actually going to need is whenever you drag something onto your hotbar. So, for example, like the stim pack, bandage would be here. If I didn't have any AI2s in my inventory, if they were gone, so we'll just like, just for the sake of the example, I'll put them in my stash. As soon as I don't have any more in my inventory, instead of it disappearing, the icon would still be here, but it would be shaded gray or shaded out. It'd have like an opacity to it to be like, hey, you're out of this. So this way you can kind of like keep things assigned to your hotkeys. And all you have to track is whether or not it's in your inventory or not. You'll never have to like grab and then redrag, if that makes sense. So it basically should have a memory for the hotkeys. And you can kind of switch those whenever you want. And it would always just kind of, retain. That would feel really, really nice. Oh, this is sick, dude. I love this. Oh, I can't wait to go in here. That looks fucking dope. That effect is really nice, too. That's sick. Hell yeah. Dude, that looks good, Lucas. Nice work on that. I need to go in there with a detector and a gas mask. That's going to be sick. So right now, too, loot containers do respawn, so eventually these containers will have loot in them again. But what we want to do is make them more randomized, and containers will basically be assorted by type and tier, and they'll like have multiple different spawn points throughout different POIs, as well as like potentially some other randomly generated stuff. Because I think that kind of gameplay is really important, so the looting doesn't get too dynamic, where it's like, oh, it's the same, 4 boxes in this camp that you loot every single time. Even them moving around and having some variation is nice. So what this thing is doing too, it's basically shooting like spores down from the sky at me. It's like shooting them up and they fall down. One thing that could look cool too with that effect is actually using the shadow somehow. Like getting an effect where it's like obviously shooting up in the sky. And then we can like see like the little shadows kind of start to come all around us and then land on us. Kind of does that already with the texture, but I feel like if we could utilize this view cone shadow, that actually might look really immersive. Wagon City, huh? People cool here, Wagon City? You guys let me smoke weed here? Oh shit, nope, not the weed grabs you here, actually. Okay. The weed consume you. Fuck. Oh shit, this isn't good. Ah, fuck. Oh, this isn't good. Oh, we're saved. We gotta fix this rads though. I think that's anti-rad. Okay, we're good. Fuck. Okay, so Wagon City is just a lot of angry weeds. These. We'll put something on a radiation hotkey too. Food water on me. Okay. All right, yeah. Let's go back to Gregory. You can kind of like hit the same areas over and over and get more loot out of them. Not bad. Is it going to have fishing? I would like fishing. Absolutely, yeah. I would like a type of like hunter-gatherer type gameplay. I wouldn't mind adding some more complexity to like hunting mutants, like maybe needing different types of knives to skin them and get their parts, and you can only harvest certain parts from certain mutants depending on the type of tools you have. And it could kind of be maybe the same thing for like fishing. We could have like a cool fishing mini game, and you could get like weird mutated fish and like other random junk. It'd kind of be like a slot machine kind of mini game with like bait associated with it, and maybe like have some kind of like actual like game that you play while you fish. Some kind of like oh, the bobber moved, you click type stuff. But I love the idea of more sandboxy features, because that's what this game's supposed to be. It's a big sandbox game set in this like Stalker gritty environment, a lot of radiation, all other kind of stuff. Why am I bleeding? Like ricochet? I think I ricocheted myself. No! Damn, there's more than one. We're dead. So again, this is part of like the core loop. So I could reload my save right here if I wanted to, but you basically die and you respawn here in the hospital, and you have some of your stuff, some of your gear is gone. Your gear has like lower durability, you like lose some items and stuff. So this is kind of like the intended gameplay loop. That's why you also have a stash built up with like items, and you kind of have to like, you know, try again. I think our dead body will be marked. Yeah, right here. We died here. So I think we can go back there and maybe get some of our items. But we didn't lose everything, fortunately, so we still got a shotgun here. Because I personally think games where when death means just restarting from exactly where you left off, I just don't find that to be very engaging or interesting at all. I feel like death needs to have some kind of consequence in your game. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think every game needs to be like this either. So don't think I think like every game needs to have like roguelike features, but there's something about games like this where it's like when you lose, like the game takes from you. You like digress. To me, I think that's just such a fun thing because it kind of keeps you playing and it keeps you engaged, and it makes like trying to stay alive important. It makes like not dying fun. Can you make a base like a Stalker? Like in Stalker normally, you can put stuff in a random house and call it home. No, not yet. We will have something like that. What we're kind of looking more into leaning into is giving the player a hideout that's actually kind of a part of the world story and the progression. And kind of our mindset right now is in the game's lore, there's this train that kind of takes people to and from this place, because this place is like kind of like a pocket out in like the real world somewhere. And so it's kind of like a bit separated, but the only way in and out of this place is through a specific train. It's the only way you can safely enter or leave like this region. And we're thinking about potentially having like a personalized train for the player with different carts that you can expand with like AI NPCs that are kind of like your companions, and they would basically be like vendors and or crafters or technicians or whatever, and you'd essentially have like this mobile base. And with this mobile base, you'd be able to like traverse like this massive region and go to different territories and stuff, because it's like a very large area. It's not like a small location. And so the map, it would be big enough to warrant like a type of fast travel with a train, but you'd also be able to kind of move that all around the map as you want freely, and kind of stop and make camp wherever you want. And that's kind of like where we would like to go with the base building and hideout system for this. Is it's like, it's not just a hideout. It's like literally a mobile base or something like that. It'll be Steam Deck ready for early access launch, Shambler. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to achieve that. Terraria-esque NPCs, kinda. Maybe potentially like the NPCs would be the same for everybody, so they wouldn't be like randomized. They wouldn't be like RimWorld or something. Where that could potentially be cool, but it would probably be something more along the lines of Stone Shard, where you kind of go through specific quest lines and recruit companions who are just a part of your caravan, and they're like key characters of like the world, the story, and the narrative for the game. And they would each obviously provide like their own kind of like passive bonuses somehow, or some kind of like, you know, they would offer some kind of service to you, right? But that's kind of like long-term goal for something that we'd like to achieve. But at the end of the day, we do want to have some kind of like hideout / stash, like meta progression upgrade system in that kind of department. We already have a stash at one of the traders right now that you can access, which is kind of like a very early step of that, but it's just literally a stash for you to hold gear so that if you do die and you need to get rekitted, you can go grab that stuff. Oh, not these things again. Fuck these fucking plants, bro.